Day I returned home. None of my 4 childhood friends who pledged to collect me showed up. Suddenly, floating words emerged before my eyes. The secondary character is so tragic. In just 3 years, all 4 male leads developed feelings for a stand-in. No one thinks about her. The white moonlight should stay abroad. Coming back just makes her plain rice. The secondary character is stunning and exceptional, but became a tool to bring together the female lead and male leads. Only when she comes back do the male leads recognize how much they treasure the female lead. So they've found someone new to love. I took a long breath and sent a text. All the bothersome people are gone, sweetheart. Come fast. 10 minutes later, I walked out of the terminal arm in arm with a man. The floating comments went wild. What's happening? The secondary character has been hiding someone, while the male leads were absent. Not certain. Let's watch. This handsome guy looks like the heir to the capital's richest household. Liam Carter. Isn't he the big villain who shows up in the second half of the story? The one who almost destroyed the main character team? Why is he here right now? Big villain. I looked at Liam Carter, who was obviously brooding despite letting me hold his arm. Long eyebrows, piercing eyes, chiseled features. He definitely had the imposing presence of a big villain. If only he wasn't pouting. Rachel, I've been with you since I was 20. He protested. And what happened? You never told me you had 4 backup guys back home. You made me stay hidden. I'm your genuine boyfriend. But I feel like the side piece. You've been treating me horribly unjust. I was just scared those 4 crazy dogs would attack him. If I'd known sooner he was the Dylan, I wouldn't have stopped him from displaying his real nature. It's his fault too. When we were abroad, he acted all adorable and innocent around me. I thought he was just some pretty boy searching for a sugar mama. I was wrong, okay? But he's truly a sensitive little boy who will cause a scene if not properly comforted. So I quickly apologized. How do you want me to make it up to you? Tell me. Sister has some looks and a few dirty dollars. Who cares about your dirty money? Liam got frustrated. Then he narrowed his eyes and menacingly approached me. Rachel, I'm telling you, I'm dating you with marriage in mind. If you dare betray me, I'll break my own legs, lock myself to the bed, let you ride on top of me, choke my neck until I'm breathless, and you'll never escape from my grasp. I nodded in amazement. Sounds like I'm getting a fantastic deal, he said proudly. Of course, who else could be as durable as me? Able to handle you playing with them like this? Indeed, no one else could. The floating comments were going insane over his devotion. I shipped this couple in just 1 second. He talks about force but thinks about love. This scheming big boy. This is the dark villain who could torture and drive 4 male leads. Crazy single-handedly. Sister, please share your dog training tutorial. No training needed. This lovesick brain is natural. Can't be envied. But marriage is worth considering. After all, I allowed him to come back to the country with me. To make things clear with my grandfather, who's obsessed with arranging marriages for me. If I'm getting married, it has to be under these conditions. Those 4 childhood friends my grandfather picked for me, I don't like any of them. I brought Liam home. The 4 guys weren't there either. Just their parents warmly welcoming me. Before they could say much to me, my angry grandfather kicked them out of the house. Grandpa was already very dissatisfied with those 4's absence. But the moment he saw Liam, his eyes lit up. You brat. No wonder you stayed abroad for 3 years without coming home. You really found something good behind my back. He poked me twice with his walking stick. Grabbing Liam's hand, he smiled like a trafficker. Good boy. So handsome. So handsome. Rich or poor, doesn't matter. Stay here. Stay with the Hayes family. Have babies with Rachel. As expected, Grandpa is all about looks. One look at Liam, and he forgot all about those 4 arranged marriage candidates. Liam's face turned red, pretending to be innocent. Grandpa, I'll listen to Rachel. Then he seized the opportunity to add, my surname is Carter. What? Grandpa gasped, looking at him in shock. Which Carter? The one in Power Uptown. Richard Carter's. Carter, Liam said humbly. Richard Carter happens to be my father. Grandpa immediately let go of his hand, his expression serious. This isn't good. Our Hayes family has some money, but we can't compare to the Carter family, controlling the city's lifeline. Our Rachel won't marry into your family. No way. Liam pulled out a stack of contracts, folded into squares from his pocket, and stopped them into Grandpa's hands. Grandpa, don't be formal. My mother holds 32% of Carter's shares. I hold 30%. We'll each give 20% to Rachel. That's 2% more than my dad. This is the share transfer agreement. Sign it first. If that's not enough, I'll make my mom divorce him. We can conservatively get another 10% as Rachel's dowry. Grandpa's eyes filled with tears, holding Liam's hands with the contracts high. Am I selling my daughter for glory? Liam cried along. Grandpa, You're the richest man's grandfather now. Be confident, Grandpa.
Son.
I'll call you son from now on. The two of us, Liam continued, each in our own way. Both burst into loud laughter. Ah, 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 ah. I was satisfied they both got what they wanted.
So did I.
I knew his surname was Carter, but didn't expect it. Was that Carter my peculiar charm? How did I conquer the book's ultimate rich family heir? Who says secondary characters have bad luck? This luck is too good. Rachel, you're so amazing. So amazing. What am I even watching? Is this still the substitute romance with 4 men and 1 woman? From the synopsis, the white moonlight has an official match. Who's going to turn dark from jealousy of the female lead and promote these 5 people's relationships? Am I the only one who thinks Liam's character completely crushes the 4 male leads? Just let me watch the secondary character and villain be sweet together. Don't let the other 5 appear impossible. Just now those male leads' parents felt Grandpa Hayes' attitude and are already urgently calling their sons. Plot will definitely follow the main storyline. Secondary character. Please don't be stupid. Those 4 scumbags aren't worth it. Through the floating comments, I learned why my 4 childhood friends still haven't shown up. It's because my substitute, Claire Bennett, attempted self-harm by cutting her wrists last night. Actually, the female lead is pretty pitiful too. Originally a poor little white flower. Because she looks a bit like the secondary character. She was ruthlessly played with by 4 young masters before whatever she wanted the male leads gave her, spoiling her to the heavens. But yesterday, she found out she was just the secondary character. Substitute when the male leads were about to abandon her for the secondary character. Who wouldn't go crazy, huh? The female lead isn't that pitiful. She's quite manipulative. Just a shallow cut on her wrist scared the 4 male leads to death, making them completely forget the secondary character was coming back, starting to regret and reflect on whether they fell in love with the substitute. So such despicable men. The secondary character is better off without them. Really dodged a bullet. Exactly right. Just now when I went to the restroom, I heard Mr. Wright in the hallway yelling at his son, one of the male leads, Tyler Wright. I don't care where you are. You must come to the Hayes house now. Rachel is back. How does it look for you to keep fooling around outside? Mr. Wright is also in his 50s. CEOs at this age inevitably use loud phones. I heard Tyler Wright's impatient voice from inside. Dad, Claire is injured. I can't leave the hospital. Tell Rachel we really can't get away. If she can wait, we'll throw her a welcome party later. Tyler, you should go. I'm just a fake substitute. Go back to your moon eye. I'm not worth it. A crying female voice spoke up, sounding heartbroken and pitiful. Probably the female lead, Claire Bennett, mentioned in the comments. The other 3 guys couldn't stand seeing her cry. They all spoke up. Tyler Wright, if you can't bear to give up being the Hayes family son-in-law, then get lost. Well, stay with Claire. That was Noah Foster. Claire, ignore him. He's been following Rachel around since childhood. Total simp. If he wants to leave, let him. I absolutely won't leave. Declaring loyalty was Caleb Hughes. Claire, listen, I admit we were somewhat excessive to you before. But don't worry, we won't hurt you again because of irrelevant people. Now you're very important to me. Regretful CEO was Owen Brooks, finally ending with Tyler Wright's rebuttal. Who says I'm Rachel Simp? Childhood stuff I forgot. Long ago. You guys were just as clingy to her. Stop slandering me, Dad. Stop calling me. I won't go back. If the princess needs someone to serve her, find someone else. Mr. Wright cursed at the phone. Only then did he notice me nearby. He smiled apologetically, Rachel. I politely shook my head. It doesn't matter. I've known those 4 scumbags for a long time. Mr. Wright's face flushed a deep, mottled purple. He opened his mouth to apologize again, probably to salvage whatever face the Wright family had left, but the heavy oak doors of the parlor swung open. Liam strolled out. He had taken off his suit jacket, leaving him in a crisp white shirt with the sleeves rolled up to his forearms, revealing lean muscle and the faint edge of a dark tattoo on his wrist. He looked like a masterpiece of lazy arrogance, right up until his eyes locked onto me. Instantly, the cold, untouchable aura melted into a golden retriever pout. Rachel, he whined, wrapping his arms around my waist from behind and resting his chin on my shoulder. Grandpa is making me drink his vintage tea. It tastes like tree bark. Save me. Mr. Wright choked on his own spit. He recognized Liam. Anyone in the capital's upper echelon who didn't recognize the sole heir to the Carter Empire was practically asking for bankruptcy. Mr. Carter? Mr. Wright stammered, his eyes darting between Liam's arms wrapped tightly around me and my thoroughly unbothered expression. Liam didn't even bother lifting his head from my shoulder. He merely shifted his gaze, his eyes narrowing into cold, predatory slits. Who are you?
I'm Jonathan Wright.
CEO of Wright Enterprises. My son, Tyler, is. Right. Liam's voice dropped an octave, the playful pout vanishing into something dangerously sharp. The one whose son was just barking on the phone about how my fiancé is unworthy of his time? Mr. Wright looked like he was about to faint.
No.
Misunderstanding. Mr. Carter, Tyler is just young and foolish. Then he should learn to keep his mouth shut. Liam interrupted smoothly. Before someone shuts it for him. He turned back to me, his tone instantly sweetening. Babe, do we like the Wright family? Not particularly, I answered truthfully. Liam smiled. It was a beautiful, terrifying smile. Understood. Holy crap, the switch up. Villain mode activated. Rest in peace, Wright Enterprises. Liam is like, I only have 2 modes. 1. Rachel Simp. 2. Capitalist Grim Reaper. I patted Liam's arm, ignoring Mr. Wright, who was now frantically dialing his phone, likely to drag his idiot son back by his ear. Let's go inside. Grandpa's tree bark tea awaits. Word spread fast. By the end of the week, the entire social circle of the capital was buzzing with the news. Rachel Hayes had returned, but she wasn't waiting around for the 4 young masters. She had brought back a Leviathan. The floating comments were my primary source of entertainment during those few days. Update. Claire is discharged from the hospital. The 4 scumbags are treating her like spun glass. They haven't heard the news yet. They've been sequestered in Claire's suburban villa playing house. Oh, this is going to be so good. Grandpa Hayes is hosting a welcome back banquet tonight. The invitations were sent out. Mr. Wright, Mr. Foster, Mr. Hughes, and Mr. Brooks literally forced their sons to attend. Will Claire come? Of course she will. The female lead always crashes the party to show how pitiful and resilient she is. Grab your popcorn, ladies and gentlemen. I sat at the vanity, adjusting a diamond earring. Liam stepped up behind me, dressed in a bespoke midnight blue tuxedo that made him look obscenely handsome. He leaned down, pressing a soft kiss to the crook of my neck. You look too beautiful tonight, he murmured, his hands resting on my bare shoulders. Can we cancel? I want to lock you in the bedroom. You promised me a show, Liam, I teased, meeting his dark eyes in the mirror. Are you backing out? He chuckled, a dark, vibrating sound. Never. But if those 4 touch so much as the hem of your dress, I'm snapping fingers. I'll let you break their legs, I offered generously. You're so good to me, he sighed blissfully. This couple is unhinged, and I'm here for it. Match made in hell. I love them. The ballroom of the Hayes Manor was a sea of glittering chandeliers, clinking champagne flutes, and the quiet murmur of the city's elite. When Liam and I descended the grand staircase, the room fell silent. I wore a sweeping crimson gown that clung to my curves, unapologetic and bold. Liam's hand rested firmly on the small of my back, staking his claim. We didn't look like a secondary character and a villain. We looked like the king and queen of the board. As we mingled, I spotted them. The 4 male leads. Tyler Wright, Noah Foster, Caleb Hughes, and Owen Brooks. They stood near the entrance, looking incredibly reluctant. And right in the middle of them, clinging to Tyler's arm, was Claire Bennett. She was dressed in a pale, fragile white dress, classic white moonlight cosplay, with a bandage wrapped prominently around her left wrist. She looked exactly like me, or rather, a washed-out, watercolor version of me. Where I was vibrant, she was delicate. The moment they saw me, all 4 men froze. The floating comments exploded. The realization, look at their faces. They thought Rachel would be crying in a corner. She's literally glowing. Tyler's jaw is on the floor. Tyler took a step forward, practically dragging Claire with him. Noah, Caleb, and Owen followed, their eyes locked onto me with a bizarre mix of guilt, defiance, and sudden, shocking longing. They hadn't seen me in 3 years. Clearly, absence and a glow-up had done wonders for my appeal. Rachel, Tyler said, his voice tight as he approached. He didn't even notice Liam standing slightly behind me in the shadows of a towering floral arrangement. You're back. I am, I said evenly, taking a sip of my champagne. You 4 look awful. Rough week. Caleb scowled, stepping up defensively. Don't start, Rachel. We didn't come to the airport because Claire needed us. She was hurt. You can't just expect the world to revolve around you anymore. I don't, I smiled. I didn't even expect you to be here tonight. In fact, I'm pretty sure my grandfather banned you. Our fathers made us come, Owen muttered, running a hand through his hair. He looked at me, really looked at me, and his voice softened. You look different, Rachel. She looks like a bully, Claire whispered, her voice trembling just enough to be heard. She shrank behind Tyler. Tyler, maybe we should go. I don't want to upset Miss Hayes. I know she hates me. No one is making you leave, Claire, Noah said fiercely, glaring at me. Rachel, apologize to her. If you hadn't come back and sent us those messages, she wouldn't have felt so pressured that she hurt herself. I stared at them. Truly, I was astounded by the sheer audacity of their logic. LMO, the victim blaming is insane. Secondary character merely breathes. Male leads, how dare you hurt Claire? Where is our Dark Lord? Unleash the hound. Let me get this straight, I said, setting my glass down on a passing waiter's tray. I text you, my childhood friends, to pick me up. You ignore me. You play house with my knockoff. She cuts herself for attention, and somehow, I owe her an apology. She is not a knockoff. Tyler roared, stepping into my personal space. She's 10 times the woman you are. You're just a spoiled, arrogant. Finish that sentence. A voice purred, dark and smooth as velvet. I dare you. Liam stepped into the light. The air pressure in the room seemed to drop. The 4 men staggered back, their bravado instantly evaporating. They might be rich second-generation heirs, but Liam Carter was the apex predator who currently held their family's supply chains by the throat. And Mr. Carter. Owen choked out, the color draining from his face. Liam didn't look at them. He looked at Claire. His gaze swept over her pale dress, her tear-filled eyes, and the bandage on her wrist. A look of profound disgust crossed his features. Rachel, Liam said, his voice echoing in the sudden silence of the hall. Why is there a piece of plain tofu dressed in a sheet standing on our carpet? Plain tofu LMAO. Liam chose violence and comedy. Claire is buffering. She doesn't know how to play the victim against a psychopath. Claire gasped, her eyes widening in genuine shock.
Excuse me.
Mr. Carter, please. Tyler gritted his teeth, trying to maintain some dignity. This is between us and Rachel. Nothing involving my fiancé is between you, Liam said coldly. He pulled me against his side, interlacing his fingers with mine. He raised our joined hands, letting the light catch the massive, obscenely expensive pink diamond on my ring finger. Now, apologize to her. All of you. Fiancé? Noah whispered, staring at the ring. Rachel, you're engaged? To him. Is there an echo in the room? Liam sighed, looking incredibly bored. I said apologize. For what? Caleb spat, unable to control his temper. For not picking her up? She's fine. She doesn't need us. No, she doesn't, Liam agreed, his voice dropping to a terrifying calm. He snapped his fingers. Instantly, Liam's assistant, a severe-looking man in glasses, stepped out from the crowd and handed Liam a tablet. Tyler Wright. Liam read lazily. Yesterday, Wright Enterprises lost the bid for the South Bay development.
To me.
Noah Foster. Foster Medical stock dropped by 15% this morning after a rumor of a hostile takeover.
Started by me.
Caleb Hughes, Owen Brooks. Well, your fathers have already signed over 30% of their liquid assets to my shell companies to avoid bankruptcy. Liam handed the tablet back to his assistant and smiled at the 4 pale, trembling boys. You don't apologize for not picking her up. You apologize for existing in her airspace and breathing her oxygen. Kneel. Mr. Carter, you can't just... Tyler started, his voice cracking. Tyler. A sharp, resounding smack echoed through the hall. Mr. Wright had sprinted across the room and slapped his son across the face so hard Tyler stumbled into Claire, knocking them both to the floor. Kneel and apologize to Miss Hayes right now, you ungrateful wretch. Mr. Wright screamed, his face bathed in a cold sweat. The other 3 fathers quickly followed suit, dragging their sons forward by their collars. The grand ballroom turned into a spectacle. The 4 proud, arrogant male leads were forced onto their knees before me by their own fathers. Claire, sitting on the floor where she had fallen, burst into real, ugly tears. But for the first time, none of the 4 men rushed to comfort her. They were too busy staring in horror at their furious fathers and the smiling devil standing beside me. Rachel, I'm sorry, Tyler forced out, his face burning with humiliation. I looked down at them, feeling absolutely nothing.
No triumphant vindication. No lingering sorrow.
They were just strangers. I don't accept it, I said lightly. But I do accept the fact that I'll never have to see you again. Security, please escort these uninvited guests out. They're ruining the atmosphere. Queen behavior. She didn't even yell. She just treated them like trash on the bottom of her shoe. Look at the male leads. Their eyes are red. The regret is setting in. It's too late, boys. As security dragged them out, Claire scrambled to her feet, looking at me with pure venom. You think you've won? They loved me. They gave me everything. I leaned in slightly, my voice for her ears only. And now they have nothing to give. Let's see how much they love you when they're broke, sweetheart. Claire froze, the color completely draining from her face. She looked at the 4 men, who were currently being berated and shoved toward the exit by their fathers, looking entirely pathetic. The illusion of her perfect, wealthy protectors was shattered. She turned and ran. Liam wrapped his arms around my waist, burying his face in my hair again. Are you happy? He mumbled. Very, I said, turning to kiss his cheek. Thank you, my dark lord. He beamed, the psychotic edge vanishing completely. Can we go to the bedroom now? No, Grandpa is watching. I'll buy him an island, so he looks away. The aftermath of the banquet played out exactly as the floating comments predicted, but with 10 times the satisfaction. Without the halo of their family's wealth protecting them, the 4 male leads quickly turned on each other. The pressure from their fathers was immense. They were stripped of their credit cards, their sports cars, and their cushy executive titles. And naturally, their true love for Claire couldn't withstand the pressure of poverty. OMG, you guys, I just saw the latest plot update.
Spill.
Tyler asked Claire to pawn the jewelry he bought her so he could pay off a gambling debt. She refused and called him a loser. Caleb tried to go back to the Hayes family to beg for forgiveness, but Grandpa Hayes let the hounds loose on him. Literally, the dogs chased him for 3 blocks. Noah and Owen got into a fistfight over who ruined their lives by bringing Claire into the circle. They are all turning on her. I read the comments while lounging by the pool at Liam's estate. The sun was warm, the lemonade was cold, and my fiancé was currently doing laps in the water, looking like a Greek god. Rachel. I lowered my sunglasses. A few yards away, standing near the wrought iron gates, was Noah. He looked terrible. He had lost weight, there were dark circles under his eyes, and his clothes were wrinkled. He had managed to bypass the outer security, probably using an old access code I had given him years ago. Liam stopped swimming. In an instant, he was out of the pool, water cascading down his sculpted torso. He grabbed a towel, but he didn't dry off. He walked straight toward Noah, his eyes fixed in a lethal stare. Wait, I said, standing up and grabbing my silk robe. I placed a hand on Liam's wet chest. Let me. Liam frowned, clearly wanting to snap Noah's neck, but he yielded, wrapping his arm possessively around my waist. Rachel, Noah pleaded, his voice cracking. He ignored Liam, his eyes fixed desperately on me.
Please.
I need to talk to you. Just 5 minutes. How did you get in here, Noah? I asked coldly. I remember the old code from your summer house.
I figured you used the same one.
Rachel, I made a mistake. He took a step forward, looking like a drowning man. We all did. Claire, she's not you. She was never you. She was manipulative and greedy, and we were just too blind to see it. When she found out my accounts were frozen, she packed her bags and left with Tyler. She didn't even look back. And you're telling me this because? Because I love you, Noah shouted, tears spilling over his lashes. I've always loved you. I was confused. She looked like you and you were gone, and I missed you so much it drove me crazy. But it's always been you. Please, Rachel, give me a chance to make it up to you. I'll do anything. I'll grovel. I'll wait. Just don't marry him. The crematorium has officially opened. Too late, trash. The audacity to blame his cheating on missing her. Men are unbelievable. I looked at Noah, this boy I had known since we were 5 years old. I remembered him giving me his juice boxes in kindergarten. I remembered him protecting me from a stray dog in middle school. And I felt absolutely nothing. Noah, I said gently. He looked up, a spark of hope in his eyes. Did you know, I continued, my voice steady, that when I was alone abroad, I got incredibly sick with pneumonia? I was in the hospital for 2 weeks. I called you. I called all 4 of you. None of you picked up. Noah's face went completely pale. I didn't know. You didn't know because you were in Paris. With Claire. Buying her a limited edition Birkin bag, I stated, the memories of the original character's grief flashing through my mind. You say you missed me, but you didn't. You missed the idea of me, and you found a convenient, compliant replacement to play with. Rachel, no. I don't hate you, Noah. I said, and I meant it. Hate requires energy. You are just a stranger to me now. A pathetic stranger who doesn't know the difference between love and possession. I turned to Liam. Change the security codes. If he comes back, call the police. Gladly, Liam sneered. Rachel, please. Noah sobbed, falling to his knees. Don't do this. I can't live without you. I didn't look back. I walked back to the loungers with Liam. As we sat down, Liam pulled me onto his lap, burying his wet face in my neck. You are too nice to him, Liam grumbled, biting gently at my collarbone. I would have fed him to the sharks. You don't have sharks. I can buy some. I laughed, running my fingers through his damp hair. You don't need to be jealous, Liam. I chose you. I only want you. Liam pulled back, looking at me with an intensity that took my breath away. All the playful petulance was gone. This was the dark villain, the man who would burn the world down just to keep me warm. You better, he whispered fiercely. Because if you ever try to leave me, I meant what I said. I will chain you to my bed and throw away the key. Promise. I smirked. His eyes darkened with lust and obsession. Don't tempt me, wife. 6 months later, the wedding of the century took place on a private island Liam had actually bought. The guest list was exclusive. Only the absolute pinnacle of global elites. Grandpa Hayes was crying so hard he had to be supported by 2 nurses, but he was grinning from ear to ear, repeatedly shouting to anyone who would listen, "That's my grandson-in-law, the richest man in the world." I wore a custom gown embroidered with diamonds, walking down an aisle covered in millions of white rose petals. At the end of the aisle stood Liam. He looked like a dark prince who had finally conquered the light. When he took my hand, his hands were trembling. "You're shaking," I whispered in amusement. "Shut up," he choked out, his eyes shining with unshed tears. "I'm having a moment. The villain is crying. This is the best ending ever." "What happened to the 4 scumbags and the White Lotus?" "Oh, didn't you hear?" As the priest spoke, my eyes flicked to the floating comments, getting the final wrap-up of the original plot. Tyler went to jail for embezzlement. He tried to steal from the company to support Claire's spending habits. Noah had a mental breakdown and was sent to a sanatorium. He just sits there drawing pictures of Rachel all day. Creepy. Caleb got into a drunk driving accident. He survived, but he lost his leg. He's working as a cashier now. Owen's family went completely bankrupt. He's buried in debt and working 3 minimum wage jobs. And Claire? Claire tried to hook up with an older, rich sugar daddy, but it turned out he was a fraud running a Ponzi scheme. She's now heavily in debt and hiding from loan sharks. A fitting end for a tragic, twisted story. But that wasn't my story anymore. "I do," Liam said, his voice loud, clear, and fiercely possessive, pulling my attention back to the present. "I do," I echoed, smiling up at him. He didn't even wait for the priest to finish. Liam pulled me by the waist, dipping me back, and kissed me with a desperate, consuming fire that left the crowd cheering and Grandpa Hayes waving his walking stick in the air. "Mine," Liam growled against my lips. "Forever." "Yours," I agreed. The floating comments slowly faded away, disappearing into the bright, sunlit air. I didn't need them anymore. The script was broken. The secondary character didn't just survive. She won the ultimate prize. And as I walked back up the aisle, arm in arm with a villain who loved me more than life itself, I knew our story was just beginning.